Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I usually don't do videos like this. I usually don't do videos, period. I'm not the kind of guy to make videos. I'll share them, I'll be in them if I need to be, but I won't make them. This is a different occasion. For the second time in my life, I have watched the movie Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. It is the sixth movie in the Resident Evil franchise. It is the, I think, fourth movie directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, starring his wife Milla Jovovich. I've been a fan of the Resident Evil movie series for a long time. When the first one came out in 2002, it was the first rated R movie that I watched without parental supervision. Paul Anderson directed the first one. He did not direct the second one, nor the third one. But he did direct the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. And it was around the fourth where you start seeing the cracks in everything that the movie series is going to become. And the sixth movie, it is a complete train wreck. When I got home, I ripped my ticket. I usually keep my ticket stubs. I take pictures of them, post them on Facebook. This time I ripped it into pieces and took a picture of that. I wanted nothing to this movie, but it kept nagging at me. More than any movie that I thought was bad has ever done. So much so that I feel like this needs to be out there. So in this video, I'm going to list many of the reasons, there's probably more that I haven't discovered, as to why this movie is the worst in the entire franchise. Which makes it a good thing, because that means, because it's the last one, we won't have to worry about anything else. The following is strictly opinion, but an opinion backed by facts. This report will cover the many reasons why this movie, Resident Evil: The Final Chapter, is not only the worst movie in the franchise, but is also the most scatterbrained. My first point is the retroactive continuity, or retcon, in Resident Evil Apocalypse. It is revealed that Angela Ashford that she inherited a degenerative disease by her father, Dr. Charles Ashford. This disease would have at some point forced her to spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair, like her father. Dr. Ashford invented the T-virus to fight the disease, with success as long as she is dosed with the antivirus to stop the unnatural mutation that is a side effect of the T-virus. In the sixth movie, it is Professor James Marcus that creates the T-virus to stop the rapid aging of his daughter, Alicia, who is diagnosed with progeria. By changing the lore that is already established, the audience has lost any emotional link to the story prior, and there is nothing connecting the previous films to the sixth. Characters unaccounted for or killed off screen: Jill Valentine, Ada Wong, Chris Redfield, Leon, Spencer Kennedy, Angela Ashford, Alice's daughter from Resident Evil Retribution, are all unaccounted for or just dead. Angela Ashford is never seen again after the second movie. Chris Redfield is never seen again after the fourth movie. The rest are supposedly killed off just before the sixth movie starts in a betrayal by Albert Wesker. We are never given a reason or Angela's location or what happened to her in the third movie or any movie after. Chris Redfield is never spoken of again. The betrayal of Albert Wesker. At the end of Resident Evil Retribution, we are introduced to Albert Wesker, main antagonist from the fourth movie, Resident Evil Afterlife. We see him in the Oval Office in what is left of the White House in Washington, D.C. He gives Alice back her powers and says that they must all band together to stop the Red Queen. In the beginning of the sixth movie, Alice crawls out of a hole in the ground, and we find out that most of the characters from the movie prior are dead because Albert Wesker turned on them. We do not see this. We don't see the results of it. No bodies, no flashbacks. Anyone who has played or knows someone who has played a Resident Evil game knows that Wesker will betray. Water is wet, the sun will rise and set. Wesker betrays. The betrayal came and went like a leaf in the wind. There was no established trust between him and Alice at the end of the fifth movie, just a shaky alliance between Wesker and Alice. The Red Queen. In the first movie, the artificial intelligence known as the Red Queen was fried out of existence by an electromagnetic pulse. In the fifth movie, she is somehow back and wanting to kill Alice and her friends. In the sixth movie, she is willing to work with Alice because Umbrella planned the end of the world by setting loose the T-virus. It was not an accidental outbreak. That also goes to the retroactive continuity. The Red Queen is played by the director's daughter in this movie. So I guess you could say Paul Anderson turned into a family film. And by that I mean he got as much of his own family in front of the camera as he could. Albert Wesker's death. In the fourth movie, it is established that Albert Wesker has powers on par, if not stronger than Alice's. In the sixth movie, he is killed after a metal door drops and severs his foot. He bleeds out. Wesker has survived much worse than this and literally walked away. From corporate cover-up to government containment. In the second movie, it is said that Raccoon City will be sanitized by a 5-kiloton nuclear device, and it is said that it is being sent over by Umbrella. In the beginning of the sixth movie, it is a government attempt to contain the outbreak with a non-nuclear device. The only reason they did that is so they can go full circle and end up back in Raccoon City. If they went with established lore of it being nuked, no one would survive the radiation, completely disregarding the lore established in the first three movies. The series as a whole could have ended with the third or fourth movie. The desert facility in the third movie had all that was needed to make a cure. The White Queen said so. The fourth movie could have been where they ended up with the death of Albert Wesker. People didn't need his betrayal on the big screen. He was only there because he did it in the first game. The sixth movie not only changes but removes established lore, but introduces new lore and the trademark, "My name is Alice" intro. Paul Anderson turned Resident Evil: The Final Chapter into a soft reboot, a sequel, and a series finale. All of these things in one movie. It is in my opinion that Paul Anderson no longer had grasp on the franchise that he created when he directed the first movie. He ended the franchise with so many loose ends and plot holes. To say the plot looks like Swiss cheese would be a compliment. It looks like he took the plot and established lore set up by previous movies and emptied 3,000 rounds from a minigun into it. I always took pictures of my ticket stubs after seeing the first movies. A lot of them posted on Facebook. I sat through all of Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. I ripped my ticket into pieces before taking the picture. I wasn't angry. I was sad as a fan of the franchise and a huge fan of the games. It hurt me to watch it and the way they end and watch it end the way it did. This movie doesn't need to exist. It shouldn't have existed. They could have ended it a lot sooner. After the third movie, I believe it just became a cash grab. As a fan of the franchise and the game series, there needs to be justice. We will be avenged. I will make sure of it.